Good afternoon, my name is Katerina Adarchenko, and I want to represent to you some ideas from Institute for Democracy and Development and also our Ukrainian community here in DC. We discuss for a long time documents which was formed on Lugano conference and which devoted to Ukrainian recovery plan, and also we analyze documents of our executive branch of power, our cabinet of minister, and I will add these documents to this video blog, so you also can explore, I think not full variants, but main points and main blocks which can be different for professionals from different area. So I want to mention and discuss with you next point, which on my modest opinion, it's must be first and basic points in such plans. So first of all, as we can see from any statement on Lugano conference, from mostly really from all democracy countries which taken part in Lugano conference, we see that these countries ready to give more weapons to Ukraine, give more additional financial aid, give more humanitarian aid for Ukraine. So it's not consensus question like help Ukraine or not help Ukraine. But when we have discussion about recovery plan, here the first point is yes, we will support Ukraine, but it's discussable models how we will support Ukraine, and of course many countries talk about reforms in Ukraine and about fight with corruption in Ukraine. So that's why on our opinion, first of all, we must mention, and I'm also 100% for it, it's a point that we must decline point that government must have monopoly for international money. So in Ukrainian history, we unfortunately, as like new country, have problems with corruption, have problems with bad management, with low rating in doing business, high rating in corruption perception, and also still we working on good governance. So that's why when we look on successful examples of recovery countries after war, for example South Korea, we see that it's not domination of government, it's not domination of like planning or like plan economy, it's domination of liberal democracy, and its domination of the same conditions for all businesses. That's why it's very important to do control on government structure and to stimulate good governance and reforms. Secondly, it's of course support civil society, because now also one of the main point and one of the main fighter with Russia aggression, it's of course our volunteers, it's of course also our civil society, which extremely active, and I see it here, and I'm everyday work with those people, so I know directly what I'm talking about. And of course direct and very fair conditions for business in all sectors, because in other way, when we see in such part of this document that government wanted to dominate in dealing with international financial aid, and that government will be monopolist of distributing this financial aid, it will be unfair, because one business will take credits for 1% and other business will have a ability to have credit in 30%. So of course main issue it's balance and its balance between different sectors. So mostly it's, of course, our government, its business, and its civil society. It can be in different forms, so it can be direct grants and cheap credits to business, and it's very understandable model for international financial structures, I think. Secondly, it's, of course, reform and transparent governance. So we really need anti-corruption reforms, and we need to go really fast in this sector. So we did a lot, and we did a lot with anti-corruption structures. We did a lot work in digitalization of different procedures in our country, but still we have problems even on customs, and as you can see in previous reports, corruption on customs, it's one part of like hidden economy or black economy in our country. So that's why second point is transparency, and of course reforms which will help us to move forward in doing business right, and of course fighting this corruption, because you can see examples of some countries which after war go to autocracy and to not very developed way of moving forward, and some countries as the same Southern Korea do great success in economy way. Third question is, of course, question of details and priorities for economy plan, and it's understandable that priority must be on energy efficiency, of energy independence. Second priority is food safety, and organize also sustainable growth of this sector. Third question is, of course, transport hub, and working on new transport hubs in Ukraine. And third, it's must be, of course, not export raw material, but creating new workplaces and new full cycle plants, full cycle business in Ukraine. And many countries, even Swiss on Lugano, said that they ready not only buy our raw materials, but directly support a full cycle of production in Ukraine. And many also business from smaller economies like Romania said the same, that we are ready to do our manufacturing in Ukraine. So it's extremely important. Next point, if it's of course involvement, and it's of course human rights, it's of course involvement of women. Maybe it looks like not very actual point when we're talking about this period now, when war already going on, but as you can see also in this situation, women's, childs, and minorities have the worse situation. So that's why in new model and new recovery plan we must have strong support of women, of minorities, and strongly support their lives. And the last but not the least point, it's of course point of point and stable position that we must build better than we had. So of course it's message about hospitals, it's message about educational system, and we hope that we can join to European Union and use also European credit and international aid to build basics of successful country, and basics is of course educational system and of course medical system. I'm work a lot on these issues which was connected with village education in village and healthcare in village, also working on a new insurance model of healthcare, so we can discuss it more closely, and please look through all documents which I add, and hope that we will discuss this Ukrainian recovery plan in future with wide international audience here in DC, and of course involved all people, all stakeholders from Ukraine.